Wonderful.
Hey everyone, welcome and good morning. I'm so excited to have you all join us for a really special training. Andrea Ebert has joined us, or Ebert, you've got to tell us how you say your last name.
It's Ava from, but
Ebert,
I
oh,
answer everything.
perfect. Well, we're joining, she's joining from the US because there's a topic that we all all want to learn more about, and that is how do you do personal branding really well. And I met Andrea in Croatia. Actually, she had her beautiful baby and her son there with her, and we both connected on such a beautiful level. She's a gorgeous family. They're also traveling, which is another really great connection, homeschooling their family. She's actually pregnant with her, I don't even know, Andrea, is it your seventh little one? Eighth? I was going to say, is it eighth or seventh? Oh my goodness, congratulations. That's so exciting. And she's found a way to share her uniqueness online. As I've gotten to know her, I've gotten to know her because of her posts, because of how she shared them genuinely. And that to me really stood out. When you're in an online world, it's really hard to become personalized and to just share who you are, and for people to respond to that, or the right people to respond to that. And so when she posted that she's going to do a personal branding training for her team, I reached out and said, do you mind doing one for us too? Because I think we all need a bit of help on that one. So Andrea, I'm going to pass it over to you, and thank you so much for joining, everyone.
It's my pleasure. This topic I love, and it's such a pleasure to be with everyone. And I truly believe that LifeVantage attracts the best of people. It attracts the truth seekers from all over the world. And so you are that. Can you see my screen, Talitha? Let me go here.
Yeah, I can. Yep. If you
Perfect.
click present, it should work. There you go.
Perfect. So I'm so excited about this training, and what this was is we were talking about a personal brand, and it's very, very different from what we used to think. Like, when you think of affiliate marketing, or someone like Kim Kardashian, or someone presenting a product online, they're very polished, they're very photoshopped, it's very fake eyelashes, in a fake world. And we're getting farther and farther away from that, and people are wanting to see real, raw, and authentic. And so when we talk about a personal brand, well, let me go into this a little bit, because this is the introduction we did for our team. We're so excited about Rock the Rhythm. I know some of you are in the United States, some still in Australia. It's exciting for everyone. I know Collagen is coming in, like, I guess about 50 days for you guys over there. It's going to be massive. It's going to be such an impact. I feel like NRF2 has been so hard we're still pioneering it and educating people. But the Collagens is easy as showing a picture. And so in this exciting time, the biggest net that we can cast to build our organizations, to attract both business partners and customers, is through social media, using the power of social media and building a personal brand. And so if it's done correctly and intentionally, so that's sort of the cusp of what this training is. How can we do it intentionally and purposefully, so we attract the correct people? And it's absolutely it's just so imperative that we learn this skill in order to catch all the wave that's coming. So we're all super excited about that. But I want to go into, what is a brand? What is a personal brand? And the simple answer is, it's you. It's just you. It's me. Each one of us becomes our own brand. We are our brand. Our brand is us. It's our raw, unfiltered self, the person God has called us to be, your life experience, your passions, your gifts, your dreams, your faith, your family, your dreams, your philosophy, your hobbies, the mistakes that you've made and learned from, what you like, what you don't like, your country lifestyle, your family, your insecurities, your humor, your pain. It could be your farm, right? Your love of fashion or fitness, the food you eat, what you advocate for, your flaws, your imperfections, the things you observe, and your non-negotiables. All these things are our brand. So what it really takes is, it takes time for us to just really stop, pause, and reflect on our life, where God's brought us, and the message that we have on our heart to share with the world. And yeah, please feel free to take screenshots of any of these. A lot of them are packed with information. So it's really great to kind of go back. It's even easier than taking notes. But an easy way, a very easy way to start thinking about your brand and what you can start delivering on social media is to create a content wheel. And so when I do a content wheel, I put myself at the center. So anyone doing this exercise at home would put themselves in the center. So Talita would be in the center, you know, Julie in the center. And then you start building outwards of what are the most important things to you, the most foundational things to you. And it's not very many things, you know, you really want to focus in a certain amount of area, maybe 5 or 6 or 4 to 6 areas that you're very, very passionate about. And so for me, doing this, you know, one night I put down family. You know, that's something I can't not talk about. It's the reason I joined this business, was to have time with my family. You know, their education, they're the forefront of our life, right? My faith, God, you know, is so integral part of our life, and way of being, that is going to be a pillar. That's going to be something that I'm going to just talk about because it's so part of who I am. Natural health and wellness is another one, right? I so passionate about that. And of course, that's one of the things that attracted me, obviously, into this incredible company. Business. I love this business. To me, this business model, I talk about it very loud and proud on social media. I feel that this is the way of what I call getting out of the matrix. It's the way that a family, a very simple family who's dedicated to building this business, can go from, you know, investing $250 and eventually make $1 million and get their family out of the system and have more options for their family. So passionate about the business side of what we have to offer. And then mindset is very important to me because I probably came across mindset about 8 years ago, and that changed our life. It changed our trajectory. When you understand what's possible in your life, or that you can create a better life for your family, it's life changing. And so that actually sent us on a journey that sent us here to LifeVantage. And then freedom, not being bogged down. I never liked having a job. I never liked being, you know, asking for permission, checking out, pushing in. You know, I really enjoy just the freedom of time. And then there's also, in the political aspect of it, I like being free. I don't want to be told what to put in my body, where we can go and can't go, what you have to put on your mouth. All those things are very, very important to me. You know, they make me very passionate, speaking out about injustices. So very, very important to me. But what's so interesting here in this little content wheel is when I take it to the next slide, you're going to see how it just really expands, and how now I have so much content, right, to post online, to share. And I'm going to go there now. And so what I did is I just went to the next layer, and it can go even deeper. It can go to another slide, but it would never fit. And so what I did here is, like, when I spoke about my family, well, what can I talk about with my family, right? It's not going to be the only thing I talk about on social media, because anytime we talk about just one thing, we're going to tune people out. But my family is so important to me. So I can talk about our homeschool, that we homeschool, and I could talk about our homeschool journey. And actually that little topic, homeschool, could be 20 posts, because I could talk about unschooling. I can talk about different curriculums. I can talk about what we did, what we don't like, what we prefer. I can ask people questions. I can do a quote on homeschooling or why we do it. I could talk about food and how our family eats and the things we've changed over the years, and what we love. And my husband is actually an executive chef. So just really talking about our love for food could be a lot of our posts and a lot of what we share. And again, this is all seeking to add value to people. That's what we're doing. We're not influencers who are saying, look at me, look at me. We're saying, come with me, come on this journey with me. I'm learning, you know, I'm on this, a destination, come with me. So it's quite a different philosophy and approach. But I can talk about our shopping, our budget, schedules and routines that our family has, our dreams for the future. You know, I could talk about gentle parenting and how we're transitioning from a different kind of parenting that maybe we grew up with. Large family life, right? We love to travel. My husband's from Germany, so I could talk about that. I can talk about our RV life and living in an RV. So you kind of start to see that it's endless content. It really just starts to come out, and people find this very interesting. They're always curious to see what someone else is doing. When I talk about faith, I think one thing I really love about this whole concept of building a personal brand is, what were we told in corporate America for years? You were saying, keep politics and religion at home. Don't talk about these things, right? They're all like things you just don't mention. You just want to get along, and look where that's brought our society to today. And so the beautiful thing about a personal brand is that whatever you feel that God's put on your heart to say, then that's your brand and you speak it. So it could be abortion. You can talk about something like that on your personal brand. It could be something that's very integral to you and bringing awareness to it, right? That could just be an example of your faith. Verses from scripture. If we were to post a verse in scripture on our wall, that how many verses are there in scripture that are so inspiring, or how many psalms can we come up with that are just inspirational and will benefit people, right? Will add value to their life. So there's really no end to that content of faith, right? The things that inspire us. And that can also interlock with mindset, and that can also interlock with natural health and wellness, because as we know, like the more we study natural health and wellness, the more it should lead back to God. So in natural health and wellness, I'm very passionate about terrain versus germ theory, right? I'm activation versus supplementation, questioning allopathic medicine, healthy pregnancies. I love home birth, anything like just changing, kind of awakening people to the natural possibilities. My kids just got back from the beach and everyone's coming to the car. So it's like an attack. So anyway, it goes on. And then business, I could talk about my business quotes, books that have inspired me. I could talk about the tax benefits. I can talk about being a mompreneur. I can talk about bringing it back to the family. All my philosophies about this, like we always talk about moms should be at home, and I agree, but I also feel like dads should be at home. We don't see our dads enough. And I like to kind of go back to that analogy of the farm, right? And the whole family working together on a business. And so you can see same thing with freedom, and people really start to get to know me because I've really thought it out. I've thought about these posts in my mind, and I speak what's on my mind, right? Always in a positive way, always in a kind way, but always, seeking to share the truth and be a person of value online. And so a personal branding, when we talk about that, these are just some tips on building your brand. So the first thing you need to do is get really clear on who you are, what you love, and the gifts that you've been given, and use those in the service of others. We're always seeking to serve others. The business, the customers, everything will come if we get this part done well and right. So we focus on that. And then we have to remember that ready is a lie. I know on my team, I have a lot of people saying, I'll be ready next month. I'll be ready after harvest time. I'll be ready when the kids go back to school. I'll be ready to jump in. And they never take this business seriously, or they never officially start it. So ready is a lie. And it takes intentional effort to build a brand. It takes time, finesse. This isn't something you just start doing and then you know exactly who you want to connect with and exactly what you want to say. It's over time you start to realize, no, these are the people I really want to connect with, and these are the people I actually would not like to work with. Know that you're not for everyone. That's a very important part about building your own personal brand, right? We're not someone for everybody, and that's okay. There's 7 billion people in this world, 330 million people in let me just see, 330 million people just in the United States, right? So there's so many people that we can attract into our business. There's someone for your business, right? And we're not going to convince anybody. We're not going to spend time trying to tell somebody, why they need to join a business or what activation is, or convincing someone that's not natural minded that they need activation in their body, right? We're not convincing. We'd rather be disliked for who we are than loved for who we're not. Your mess can be your message, and your chaos can be your content. So it's okay to not have it all together when you have a personal brand. Your message means when you've made a big mess up in life and things have, and you've learned from it, that's something you get to share with others. You know, your chaos, especially, you know, with Talita and I, with the children and moving and living like the nomadic life. It can be chaotic, and that's part of our content. That's part of our fun. And we can be vulnerable and share that journey with people. Pay attention to your triggers, because that's fuel for content. You know, when you're online and there's some kind of subject going on and people are talking about something, you might think to yourself, I have a different opinion on that. And so what's beautiful about a personal brand is instead of going to someone's page and arguing the point, you can go onto your page and just do a live video and say, hey, everyone seems to be talking about this. I've noticed this. Would you agree? Or what do you think? Or actually have a completely different view, right? And kind of, and that lets them see who you are. And when you're triggered like that, it shows you that you are different from other people and you do have a different view and something different to bring to the table. So always seek to add value. I know we said that, but it's so important. Always seeking to add value. Don't share the pain without sharing the hope. So this is as we're telling people about our journey and what we're doing. Don't share the pain without showing that there's hope, right? And don't share the triumph that you've experienced without sharing the pain. So you have to learn to tell your story, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And there's a method to telling your story called the hero's journey. And we'll go over that in the next slide. But not sharing the pain without the hope means that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, we don't have enough money right now, or my health isn't where I want it to be right now. You know, I'm starting this business and I'm, you know, maybe 100 pounds overweight. It's okay to say that and to say, but what I'm so excited about is I've discovered this, and this is what I'm going to do. So you're inviting people on that journey with you. You're not leaving them there with a hang up. You're inviting them to this hope, right? And then always, you know, when we experience our triumphs, like Talita and I had this great trip in Croatia. It was epic. It was just amazing. And for me to bring my children there was just, I couldn't believe that a mom who was on a budget before was now taking my children to Europe on an all expense paid trip. So I can share those highlights, but not forget to tell people, share the pain of where I was before. Say, oh my gosh, before I didn't think I could ever afford to do this ever. I didn't think I'd ever get to Europe. Now I'm here taking my children, you know? So it's to share that journey with them, to show them this is possible for you too. That's the beautiful thing too about a personal brand. We're always inviting people to come along with us. You don't need a story. It doesn't have to be a story. You can borrow the stories of others and cast the vision of what you were striving to do. Okay, so I would always say, like in the beginning, I made it very clear on social media. I would say, I'm doing this business. I want more time with my husband. You know, so I would I would declare it, and then I would always speak to that. And after 3 years, my husband quit his job and we started RVing. And now I have talked to, we're going to have a homestead one day and we're going to do these things. And I'm projecting that vision. I'm saying, well, you know, they know, they've seen me come this far. They know I'm serious, and you start to, you know, attract more and more people, especially as you've proven yourself. I will say that building a personal brand is something that happens over time, because so many people show up online, but they disappear after 3 months or a year, right? And I think people are waiting to see if you're serious and if what you're doing is the real deal. And when you're there consistently, day in, day out, year after year, you start proving yourself, right? And then I always say to people, beware of false humility. You know, when we put ourselves out there, it really isn't because we're so great or we have it all together. It literally isn't in the service of others. And sometimes I tell people, you know, instead of the selfies being a vanity thing, it's probably a humbling thing, because we don't like to see our own faces. We don't like to go do a live video, but we do it because we know that that will serve other people. So the hero's journey that I talked about before is how we share stories when we're connecting with people. And this is sort of the outline of how we connect with people. And it doesn't matter if it's a story about the product or if it's a story about, you know, our business success or where we want to go with the business. But we always start with sharing a vulnerability, something, you know, a pain point, something that was lacking in our life, something that was difficult. And then we talk, the next step in that journey is we're ready for a change, right? We're desiring more. We suddenly start to realize there's more to life. I'm ready for this adventure, bring it on, right? But the next step is what is called the refusal of the call. That's when you start having those doubts, those fears, the naysayers, you can't do that. You can't go on that journey. That's crazy. That's reckless. And then you're in a point where you're like, well, maybe I won't go. And maybe it's not such a good idea. And then the next part of the story is you meet a mentor. Someone has come into your life. God has put someone there in your path, and they showed you that something was possible, that it is possible. Everything you hope for is possible. They give you hope, and they show you how to do it, or they train you in some way. The next part of the hero's journey is called the line in the sand moment. So you say, you know what, I'm all in. I'm going all in. And then after that, you share the reward. So how doing what you did brought you to where you are. And so this little step, I mean, we don't even need to get to the elite ranks to say, and here's my reward. I got to go to Mexico every year on an all expense paid trip because I'm an elite. It doesn't have to be that exciting. It can just literally be you just signed up for the company. Like someone brand new can already have a story and say, for me, my vulnerability would be saying time was passing by and I never saw my husband. And I realized that we didn't have anything planned for our future, and that we would just be working till the day we die. And the people that work with my husband see him way more than we do. So as an executive chef, he worked all these hours, weekends. I call myself the weekend widow, the party widow. He was never, ever home supporting our family. And so both of us got to this point where we were tired of it. And we were like, if we don't do something different, it will never change. And so we started to desire more, and we were ready to take on action. And so for us, I would say the refusal, the call, the doubts, the fear, the naysayers, really for us, it was just, we were trying to find our way to get into financial freedom. And for us, it was opening a restaurant because my husband was an executive chef. But our kind of refusal of the calls, it was hard to find money. We couldn't get the loan we needed to start this restaurant. And so we went on with life trying to think of different things we can do, but that actually was when we came into personal development. So at that point, we understood that we were masters of our own destiny, that we truly could create wealth for our family, the time freedom we wanted, but we didn't know how. And of course, it wasn't going to be network marketing because that's a pyramid scheme, and that's, not something we were going to be a part of. I definitely thought that. I also thought it was kind of a mommy business where moms thought they had a business because they sold to their friends. And I likened it to the church bake sale. I thought it was so silly. So I never took it serious. But our kind of mentor moment was when my husband and I met this man who literally God put into our life. We met him at the grocery store, and we started talking about business. And the reason I listened to him is because he had his own traditional business. And he told us, my business, it was like a house renovation business. He said, it gives me Mercedes and so he said, I'm starting to do this thing online. And we were all ears, we were all listening. And he was saying how he was trying to create this residual income because he wanted to break free. And we didn't join his company because we didn't resonate with the company, but truly he was a mentor that forever changed the trajectory of our life. Because by the time he was done with us, we said we need to find a network marketing company to join as soon as possible, and let's not look back. Let's join, let's sign up, and let's get our freedom. So that was kind of our line in the sand moment. And then, our reward came right at the beginning, because as soon as we found LifeVantage, which was literally like another blessing, someone came, I was talking to someone and they said, you should talk to my friend who sells a little yellow pill that does everything. And so we talked to them, signed up on the biggest pack, and went to Global a week later. So it was an all-in thing. But I remember being at Global, and we didn't even need to have a success story at that time. I just remember thinking, we're home. We're here. If we're in the vehicle, if we can just stay in this vehicle and keep going every single day, we're going to get to where we want. So that huge peace of mind. So that hero's journey can be anything. It could be, and it will keep changing, and it changes on who you're speaking to and what message you're trying to convey. And it could be about your health journey, and it could be about something. and the reward doesn't necessarily have to be the final reward. So it's a really great sort of exercise to share with people. This slide is dedicated to social media don'ts. So a lot of things we don't do on social media. The first thing I always tell people, don't allow anyone to post on your wall. So in Facebook, I'm more familiar with Facebook than Instagram, but on Facebook, the default setting is that anybody can post on your wall. So if you see like it's someone's birthday, you'll see like 80 birthday posts, you know? And I was thinking that just drowns your intentional branding, because now you've had all these people graffiti, even though it's sweet and it's intentional, it still is kind of like graffitiing on your wall. They're putting their message, happy birthday. And then no one even knows what your brand is about after that, because they have to scroll so deep in your feed to find it. So always make your default setting that nobody can comment on your post a comment. So they can comment, sorry, but they can't make a post on your wall. Right? It really puts you in control. And that way, if it's your birthday, you can just make a post in the morning and say, oh my gosh, it's my birthday. I feel so grateful to be here, drinking my cup of coffee. And everyone is going to comment on that post because they don't have anywhere else to post happy birthday to you except in Messenger. So they have to comment on your post that day. And that could just send you into a good algorithm. So it's always kind of outsmarting it, but you never want to allow others to post on your wall or post, you know, a video on your wall or anything. Never share another person's content on your page. So what that means is, you know, if Talita does a really great NRF2 post and I say, oh, that was a really great NRF2 post, and I do a lazy share over to my page, what I'm doing is I'm directing everyone to her. I'm saying, hey, she's the expert. She's the NRF2 lady. Why don't you go check her out and go check out her store? And she probably has really great information to help you out, right? So you're always sending people away. So what we do for that, and we have an understanding, you know, and everyone in our team, if you like something, take it, make it your own. If you really love it, take it verbatim. No one's going to be offended. You know, if it's a story, if you're inspired by something, take it and make it your own. But you're literally going to copy and paste. If it's a meme that's really funny, just you know, download the photo on your or meme on your phone and then just upload it. And then it's your fresh content. Everything comes from you, right? It's just a little tiny hack, but it makes a huge difference when you're building your personal brand. So I have some people on my team and across the board, and they'll just post random stuff on Facebook. So random things like, this is what I would look like as a dinosaur if I lived in, you know, the dinosaur ages or something. And those can be fun. So do them if you must, but you don't have to post it, right? It's not something the world needs to know, or not something that's really adding value to someone, unless it's, there's some exceptions, of course, like if it's adding a lot of humor, but you know, your lucky lottery numbers, you know, or whatever things that people are posting from the games they play. And then we always say, don't use filters, because you really want to be raw and real for people. So when I say filters, I don't mean like change the lighting, maybe the color a little bit, like that's fun and we can do that. But when we're changing filters and it has like fake eyelashes and it's kind of pulling up our cheekbones and making us look almost like a different person, you don't want to do that, because it screams that you're not authentic, right? Don't post blurry or graphic, blurry graphics or photos, right? So always make sure everything is as pristine and nice as it can be. We're raw and we're real. So we're unpolished in that way, but it's not nice to post grainy photos, right? So you want to be more intentional with that. And then something that's so important with personal branding and network marketing is curiosity is king. You don't want to give it all away. You don't want to hold the bottle of NRF2, right? And just kind of give it all away and send. You want to stay in control of that conversation, because we do know that you can get some on Amazon, or there's some weird people selling, you know, in different ways. So we want to stay in control of the conversation and always create curiosity, so that people have to come to you and say, you know, Julie, what is that? What were you talking about? What was that post about? What was that yellow pill you were holding? So we're creating curiosity, even with the collagen, not kind of giving away the brand, and definitely not posting like the stock photos. Like I know LifeVantage does a beautiful job with their stock photos, but that's not something you want to put on your wall. Sometimes we can put it in our stories because they go away so quickly, but on our wall, we really just want to keep curiosity at the center. Don't be a spammer. So when I say spammer, I'm sure you all have this, where you have people who send you videos all day long in your inbox. And I think that there's nothing more annoying. They're just sending it as if a mom of almost 8 children running a business has time to go check out the hour-long video they just sent me. I have no idea what it's about, right? And they're like, oh, you've got to, watch this. And they're always sending you stuff. It becomes spammy and it's immediately annoying and it's not adding value. But on the flip side of that, I do tell people that I have received messages from people and videos, but they'll say, oh, Talita, I thought of you because of this. I came across this video and it's Rachel Jackson talking about how she got to Pro 10 and like her 3 biggest tips, and it really helped me. So you might want to check this out. So immediately there's love there because I've said, I've thought of you. I think this is going to help me. I think I was thinking about you and I just thought this would be so helpful for you. That's a professional versus a spammer. So a professional is always seeking to serve, always seeking to add value. And so even if you're going to share something, always kind of give them the benefit and say, because you've already watched it. I know that all of you are so busy. If I want you to watch an hour video because it really is good, then I should at least say, I think you should really watch it because of A, B, and C. And then it goes into this, but it really starts at minute 20, just to save you a little bit of time if you want to watch it. I think you would love it. Right? At least even if they don't get to it, it's not perceived as spam, it's perceived as you seeking to serve. So it's a different thing. And then we always say no complaining or negative posts. So again, it doesn't mean that we can't share a vulnerability. It doesn't mean that we can't say, wow, life is really hard right now. We're on a really tight budget. These prices are going up, that we can't share something that's really hard. But that we can't say also, but that's why I'm so excited about building this business. But that's why I'm so grateful I understood about leverage income and that I started to dig the well that I'm digging right now, because I have a hope for our future. If I didn't know that this existed, I really think I would be depressed right now. You can share that, right? And again, it's serving. It's not necessarily coming across as negative. And then I always tell people, it's not a stop and go business. It's something we commit to daily. No one was going to go to a restaurant that is open Monday, Tuesday, closed Wednesday, might be open on Friday. We really have to be consistent in our posting and how we show up online. And then for a lot of people, in my team, my heart will ache for them. I'll reach out and I'll say, well, why weren't you online? You were off for 2 weeks. And they'll say, it was really hard. I was visiting my grandchildren, still trying to earn money on the side because I have no money, and trying to spend as much time as I could with my family. This one team member who, she delivers groceries, on the app, and where she lives, she can make good money. But when she was visiting her daughter, she was making very poor money and also trying to pay her bills and also trying desperately to spend as much time with her family. And I said to her, that would have been a great opportunity for you to have shared a vulnerability online and to say, I'm a grandmother. I've spent my whole motherhood raising 4 children by myself, which is her story, right? Now I just want to be with my grandchildren, but I have to work, right? I don't have the time freedom. I don't have the money freedom, but you know what? I'm so excited I have this business, because with this business, that this does not have to be my story in 2 years or 3 years, right? It can, so in her moment, she can share. And in that vulnerability, she would have attracted other grandmothers, other moms, or she could have said to moms who are in their 30s and 40s, please do something now. So this isn't your story, when you're my age. It makes you cry. So she kind of got the point that it would have been a good moment to share, or just a quick picture of the kids or just a quick update. But it's okay to be vulnerable. But sometimes we're missing opportunities when we're overwhelmed. It's okay to say you're overwhelmed. It's okay to connect with people on that real level. And so these are our social media do's. We talk about video and how powerful it is. So whether it's a reel or it's a live video or it's a video in general, it makes people connect with you in a way that's so just they really, like, they know who you are. And I remember Melissa Brown, Elite Pro 7, saying from state, she told me at one of the Elite Academies, she said, people come up to me all the time and they say, oh, Melissa, and they talk to her like they know her. And she's like, I have no idea who you are. She said, but I guarantee you, if you've done a live video, if you're someone who's active on social media, I know exactly who you are. I've heard your voice and I feel connected to you. So it's amazing how you can have this immediate connection with someone just because you feel you know them and you've heard their voice. So that's the power of video, and get into your comfort zone. I really think that when I was, and I need to do this more to make myself do a live video once a week. I used to do that so intentionally when we first started this business, and it really helped me bring up traction. And then of course there's reels, or you can do a quick video in your Facebook stories because those go away after 24 hours and there's not as much pressure. Selfies. You need to show people who you are, and that's you not hiding behind your family, not hiding behind 20 grandchildren, not hiding in a crowd, but you up close and personal, so people can see your face. And you have to do that at least once a week. So it should be that you can scroll back in your feed and see your video or see a close-up photo at least once in the week. And it's just reminding people of your brand, of who you are, your person, right? I have people on my team that I want to congratulate for getting MVP or something, and I go through their feed and I cannot find a picture of them. And I say, this is really, really, really bad. I don't even know what you look like. So they have to let people know what you look like. And then you want to post consistently, always consistently, keep your store open. So once a day is a great rule of thumb. It's not too overwhelming. But you want, if you do more and you're trying to gain traction, then separate those by about 4 hours. Never post like back to back right away. Make sure you're getting social on social media, because we're networkers, we're professional networkers, and we want to connect with the right people. And whether you know who you're looking for now or you're not quite sure, you'll find it in time. The people you do enjoy to connect with. So I found quickly that the people at our local pool back when we were at home in coastal Virginia, they were never going to buy my NRF2. They weren't interested. They were all, mainstream health, whatever the doctor says, and I realized you're to a degree wasting time in certain groups, but there's people that are hungry for this kind of information. And if you go to your Crunchy Mama groups or your homeschool groups or your people who think a little bit outside of the box, and you start connecting and socializing there and gaining friends or joining groups in real life too, and then connecting with them online, it's so powerful. That's sort of the back end of building your brand too, always adding people into your network. Again, adding value, curiosity is king whenever you talk about the product. So only post once a week about the business and once a week about the product, and kind of keep that a rule of thumb. I'll tell my team, they'll post 3 times in a week about the products, and they're not offering enough value. I mean, when we talk about our products, we are adding a lot of value because I think it's extremely valuable information, but we don't want to overdo it. We need to just kind of spoon feed people the information. Let me just see. So we get creative too on those posts. You get very creative when we talk about the business. Sometimes it's just a hint. Like I can have a picture of my husband at the beach and say, oh, I love the flexibility we have now because we went to the beach before we did our homeschool today, and people say, well, what are you doing? I would like to do that too. So that could even be a business post, but it's a very gentle, very intriguing kind of little bit of curiosity. And then maybe I can do a little more hardcore post the next week. But I also tell people that if you're not getting business partners, it's because you're not talking about the business. It's that simple. It actually shouldn't, it should be common for all of us to at least get one business partner every month. If we're doing social media properly, and if we're talking about this incredible opportunity in the light that it deserves to be talked about, we should be bringing in business partners. I would say once a month is completely doable, and to become MVP builder should be very doable for every single person who's on this call. Anyone in Life Manage, it should be completely doable, but you have to talk about business. Facebook stories are just a really great way to create conversation. So asking questions, doing polls in your Facebook story, because the more people engage with you in the stories, they go into your inbox and it shows them your Facebook page more. You always want to change things up. You don't want to be just talking about one subject, You don't want to just talk about your family, just talk about your faith, you know, just talk about Nerf 2, Nerf 2, Nerf 2, Nerf 2. You know, it really, you need to kind of change the channel and break things up a little bit. And especially if you like heavy subjects, sometimes I like to get heavy on Facebook. You can't give them too much heaviness. You have to kind of lighten it up afterwards. So always change it up, and then maybe it's a video, and then maybe it's a color block on Facebook, and maybe next time it's you know, it's a quote. But we're always kind of changing up our content a little bit and keeping it fresh. Collaborating with others is huge. So if you can collaborate with someone on your team to talk about business, or you can collaborate with them about the product, or you can collaborate with someone on social media that's not in our company, that's even better, because then you're opening yourself to a broader audience. Collaboration is really, really incredible. And then I always tell people, do these things, but take inventory. So if we were in any kind of business, everyone does inventory at the end of the month. A restaurant goes through and they make sure they, you know, my husband used to have to do inventory. We get home so late on the last day of the month because of inventory. We need to do inventory on our social media. So if you had 512 friends at the beginning of the month, you should have at least 540 friends as you're trying to build your network. It shouldn't stay the same, right? Unless you really feel like you've maxed out your friends and you have a really good network, you just need to keep providing good content and socializing with them. That's different. But as we're building our business, we always have to check those metrics. And we have to check and see that if over time we're not getting more likes. If I'm posting a post and I get 10 likes in the beginning, it's okay. But if I continue to just get 10 likes, then that's telling me I'm something's off. I need to rebrand. Either I'm not being good in my messaging, or I'm not connecting with the right people, right? Because if people love their pharmaceuticals, they won't like your products. And maybe we don't connect with those people as much. So you just do check inventory, and then we always have our own blinders on. It's hard to tell from our own eyes, like where we're messing up. So always reach up to an upline, a friend, and just say, hey, can you check out my social media and just tell me your honest thoughts? And you'll be surprised, like the feedback you'll get, like what it looks like. So just take inventory. It should look good. And also, if you're getting, I tell people, if I get 150 likes on a birthday post that I do for a child, that's par for that. That's average, and I'm very happy with that number and that level of engagement. And then if the next day I do an NRF2 post and I get 30 likes, I'm actually really still happy with the 30 likes, because I know that people are still watching, hiding, not wanting to commit, but they're seeing it. And I'm still happy that I got 30 likes. But so you have to gauge it like that too. Not everything is going to be equal, and it's okay, but you still want those numbers to be going up. I have people who will keep posting about NRF2 and they'll get 1 like each time, and it's from their mom. You know, and you're like, no, you have to, if it's just your mom that keeps liking that post, then clearly there's something wrong here, and you're not engaging, and you're not serving people, and they're not coming to your page for information. So inventory is huge. And then I just say, remember, your life is your content. So learn to share it openly, you know, authentically, consistently, on a good day and on a bad day. That's the key right there, because we all are going to have bad days. And on a bad day, that's when you go back to your content wheel and you just throw up a quote, you know, throw up something from scripture and call it a day, you know, or just post a picture of a cute kid and call it a day, you know, on those days. Or get vulnerable and share with people, you know, why you're having a hard day and the hope for the future. And then I love this quote. I just want to close with this quote because I think it's so, I love this. And I think it's so true. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? And this is the part, I'm pregnant, so I get very emotional. It says, you're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world, right? So again, it's that false humility. It's trying to not shine our light on the hill, you know? We have an incredible opportunity to share with the world. I really believe this with every fiber of my being. Like, I don't know what our family would be doing right now if we didn't have an opportunity like network marketing. I love the person it's made me become, because it makes you dig deep and discover who you are and find those layers a little more. to find your voice, to not care about adversity, to be focused on what you need to do. And knowing that you'll attract who you attract, and people will run away from you who were meant to run away from you, and it's okay. But I think this quote is just really beautiful to end it on, and show the power of, imagine if each one of us got up and shared that vulnerability, even if it's a vulnerability, because I often think that we're all pretending everything's okay. But when I look back at the life I had before, I wasn't okay. I was desperately trying to find a way to get some way that we could make money from home, or I didn't understand leverage income. I didn't really understand business, but I was thinking there has to be a different way to live life, and then always that subconscious worry about your health. How is our health? Knowing what we know now about activation, I'm so confident and grateful knowing about this gift that we have, that we can share with the world. And I think the timing is just really divine too. So with that, I'm done. That's what we have for our social media training.
Wow, thank you. It was such a fresh way of looking at it. It was exactly what I needed. Thank you so much for sharing, Andrea. Do you have time for like 5 minutes of questions if anyone has any questions?
Absolutely.
I would love to open up, because I'm pretty sure there's some of us that are sitting here going, oh my goodness, I have so much to do now. I have so much to work on. Does anyone have any questions regarding anything, Jill?
Yeah, I'll ask questions. Andrea, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I think the best thing about when it comes to branding and training, and I know for many people on this call, we've probably all sat in on personal branding trainings before, and it is just so refreshing to hear another perspective on it and the way you tackle it. And I loved the layers that you talked about, just breaking it down into those layers, and that was really awesome. My question is a little bit my question's a little bit, I guess, the next step from there, because you did mention that, you go and talk in groups and all the rest of it. So when it comes to attraction marketing and the personal branding, are you finding that just from posting about, your buckets, so to speak, your content areas, your topics, people are naturally finding you? Or is it mainly that you are going to groups, finding the right people to connect with, and then over time those people are seeing more and more of you online? So are people naturally being drawn to you through, say, Facebook Reels, or
I think that's such a good question. I think the answer is it's both. I think in the beginning we're connecting intentionally with a group of homeschool, someone who's going to connect with you, someone who's trying to live a different life than the cookie cutter life out there, right? So that happens, and then what happens is you will develop a brand for yourself over time, and it's that authentic brand. And so you'll find that people are natural sharers. That's why we tell our intentional builders, stop sharing, because we're not allowed to share. But we know that everyone else is a chronic sharer, and so what they'll do is they'll say, the moment you make a post, now not all our posts have to be a home run hit, out of the park, phenomenal, wow, this changed my life post, but every now and then we can really make a post like that. I think all of us have it in us, once a month, once every 6 months, where we do a post that just really touches with someone, whether it's our home birth post, or a really helpful post we do about homeschooling, or you did a live video on something. You'll find that everyone's going to share it. It will get shares and shares, and then people that will send people to you, and they'll friend request you, so they know you're looking for that. And then a lot of it is I'll meet people in real life. We'll go to a wild and free homeschool group or something, or a medical freedom advocacy group, and you don't mention your business there unless it comes up, because of naturally what our products are, they will come up in the conversation. But what I do is I just meet them, or if we're on the road RVing, I'll meet another RVer, we'll get together, we'll talk, and then we'll add each other on Facebook, and then they're seeing that beach picture I posted of my kids, and they say, oh, that's cute, yeah, it was fun. And the next day a birthday, oh, happy birthday to your daughter. The next day a Nerf 2 post, and they go, what's that? So it's so interesting how it happens, but it just happens organically like that. But we're kind of adding them into our funnel through networking, and then on the back end we're staying consistent with our posts. So we're posting about life, our hopes, our dreams. We're making people connect with us, and then we do NRF2. And then we do like the business opportunity.
Perfect. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, it absolutely does. And that's pretty much how I've had to grow and get people reaching out to me, I suppose, is by definitely growing that audience. So you're bringing people into your funnel through connections and groups and networking and all of that. And then the content that you're posting is basically warming them up to you and to what you have over time, and they reach out. So yeah, I get that. Thank you so much, Andrea. That was phenomenal. Loved it. Thank you.
Perfect. And anyone else have any questions? I have plenty of time.
Yes, we do. Go ahead, Rachel.
Okay, hi. So I was wondering if you have any advice on the graphic design side of things, especially when it comes to like colors and picking hex codes and what stands out on your screen and catches your eye, because there's all those small little nuances. So I was wondering if you had anything to add to that.
Yeah. So what I love about this is when you talk about a personal brand, we throw all that out the window, all of it. It all goes out the window. Now you can develop that, and that wouldn't be my strength right now. As a
Okay.
busy mom, homeschooling, all the things, I want to get, my business going. I don't have the time or a personal assistant to do all those things for me. And I think it's actually off-putting in some ways if I want to attract another mom into my business or another person into my business.
Right.
That feels like they have to come up with their own branding and their own fonts and their own colors. Now that can happen organically over Canva. It can happen organically if you get a business partner who is gifted in that area and they have a very creative eye, and that's something they're really excited about. We all see it. Some people have a beautiful Instagram. That's not me. And then that's also not necessarily the personal branding, right? So the personal branding is more of that soul connection that we have, where someone says, I love this girl. She said exactly what I was thinking, or I followed, like you're saying things, you're putting yourself out there, and you're being very raw and real with the world. And so it's more that if you can layer in those other things, that's perfect. But what we saw with the old branding was a lot of that pressure to have the perfect fonts, the perfect colors. What are you looking for? And we're kind of getting away from all of that very organically.
All right, thank you.
Do you use any long form content? Do you do podcasting or blogging, or are you just doing a focus on the daily social media outreach?
That's such a good question. I think there's different layers to how we build online and where we want to connect. And I think the worst thing we can do is spread ourselves thin. The best thing we can do is take one platform and really own it. So whether it's Instagram or whether it's Facebook, you stay on one, you do your live videos there, you show up daily. My main focus is on Facebook, and then whatever I have left goes to Instagram. So I'll cross post to Instagram, right? Or I'll share my stories on Instagram and Facebook, but my efforts are mostly on Facebook. Right now, because my husband's home and because we're traveling, we started a YouTube channel, and we started, what do we have? I started a blog, and we're terrible at it. Like, we're terrible about updating it. So we both have to sit down and figure out, like, are we going to really take this seriously? Are we going to go to the next level? Because I have seen things like Tara Wilson got 2 of her business partners from YouTube, talking about the business on YouTube. I think Josie Tong, who is in Australia, who's a Lead Pro 9, was actually reached out to Tara Wilson because she was on Facebook, she was on YouTube, and what she talks about on YouTube is business, and business is the language that Josie Tong speaks, and so she reached out to her and she joined Tara Wilson. And so that's why Tara said when she got her Master Pro 10 ceremony, she said, people say you're lucky, this person just reached out to you. She said there's no such thing as luck, it's being prepared. I forget what she said, when preparation meets opportunity, and you were ready. So we're all doing that. We're preparing our platforms for when the person comes. So it is good to broaden if you have the capacity. A lot of us don't have the capacity. Even us right now, we're struggling to write in our blog. We're even wondering what is there on the blog anyway. So what might be good is, if you did do a YouTube channel, is to do a live video where you would speak about the business and then transfer that same content onto YouTube. So then you're just sort of using the same content and trying to just branch out and get your name out there a little bit more, but with your main focus on one.
Okay, yeah, repurposing. That makes good sense. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Hi, I just wanted to ask, so I like how you said about like not allowing people to go onto your wall so that they can just comment. But what happens when you get like a negative comment? Do you just honestly answer them or sort of take them off your Facebook, or like what do you do with the negative comments?
So if they leave a negative comment on a post that we've done,
Yes.
I like to leave them there. I like to leave them there because what
Okay.
happens is, because if someone says you're a horrible mother, Andrea, then Talita and Ashley and my other friend Jenny will come and say she's not. She's a really great mother, and then it starts like and I'm just sitting back going, thanks for helping my algorithm. You know, like
Fair enough.
everybody. So when they do put, and also sometimes if they
Like,
put
yeah,
something-
like they have a differing opinion to you, so they, you know, have to jump in and say their opinion, and yeah.
And you'll see that people read those comments. They like those little back and forths. And so sometimes if there's a negative comment, and you're able to answer that negative comment with emotional stability, you know, not getting defensive, not getting angry, not using angry words, right? And you're able to answer them, that shows the people in your audience who are watching you, I like her. Like it gets to show them a little bit more of you. So as
Yeah,
a
a bit more
personal brand, you're
genuine.
kind of
Yeah.
aware of what you're doing. And sometimes again, there's negative. Sometimes I used to tell my husband, oh, I love a good hater sometimes because they just give you an opportunity to share a little bit more or
Yeah,
and
so
you can flip them
like,
over.
and so like I did sort of a curiosity post sort of about a product, and then someone was like, oh, I wouldn't be taking that while breastfeeding, and I was like taken aback, like wasn't sure what to do sort of thing, you know.
Do you know what's so good about those comments too? For example, with that example, how many people were reading that post about NRF2 that you did that weren't going to comment, but they were thinking, oh, I don't know if I could do that pregnant, but maybe I'll revisit that when I'm not nursing, right? So that person is kind of doing you a favor because they're commenting on your thread, right? Even though it's a comment, they're commenting on your thread, and then they're giving you opportunity to answer a question for all the people who didn't ask it. And you can say,
Yeah.
oh, I'd love to connect with some breastfeeding moms who absolutely love NRF2 activation. There's a few, you know, and you say there's a few exceptions where you wouldn't want to do it. And maybe that's because you would be extremely toxic in a moment, which is rare. You know, maybe you just got a vaccine, or maybe you have like a really heavy mold toxicity. And this isn't the time, you know, right now to do it. But most of our mothers have the most phenomenal stories. And actually, I tell people, Ashley, that NRF2 activation reminds me of breastfeeding a lot.
Yeah, well,
And
it was on Axio. Sorry, it was on Axio, and like
okay.
I find it hard when like the product says you can't, oh, you shouldn't take this, but most of those things, you know, seek your doctor's advice because they can't prove, I guess. Yeah, because
Well, do
you
you
know,
know
it
what it
hasn't
is?
been tested on pregnant or breastfeeding women, and so I just find it, I don't want to cross that line with the business and putting a bad name out there that they have to say this because it hasn't been tested. But you know, for me it's fine, you know, and I don't
Do you
want
know
to
what I
say,
say? I would still answer it, and I would clarify that for everybody, because I would say,
Yeah.
oh, yes, that's on there simply because the FDA requires it to be on there. It's a
Okay.
rule, like every little thing in every little nook and cranny, everything that's natural has to say not approved for pregnant or nursing women, not for children over
Yeah.
18. And then say, but you know what? You know what the FDA does approve? And then you can make a whole list of the things that they approve. And you can show what a big joke the FDA is in your own way. And then you
Yeah.
can say, so here.
Oh, it just froze. Sorry, I missed that.
And Andrea's frozen, Ashley. So hopefully she'll be back in a second.
Oh, it's just getting good. Hey, Andrea.
I want to know how also she can do a lot of stuff talking about like freedom and those sorts of things without getting kicked off. That is definitely something I'm curious about. How has she maintained her account?
Choice of words, your language, trigger words, just, yeah, you're having to work around those trigger words usually. Yeah.
Well, yesterday, Facebook shut down a group that I had set up 2 years ago and never did anything with, told me it went completely against all their community standards, but that there was nothing actually in there against their community standards. So they had like a thing that disagreed with itself there. And then I protested and then they reinstated it. It was a totally empty group. It made no sense.
I had it happen to a YouTube clip just the other day, which I had done like 3 years ago, on how to track those failed subscriptions at the end of the month. There was an old training YouTube and it went against, and they won't reinstate it. Like,
No way.
that's so random. But yeah.
Hey,
some
Andrea,
clips,
you're back.
sorry.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. It happens to me randomly. But I would say in closing, so that's a perfect opportunity. Those negative comments, or they're not even negative, they're just asking a question or saying, I wouldn't take that. It gives us an opportunity to answer the question and actually to put more truth out there, other layers. And I think also people are watching you to see how firm you are in what you do. Because if someone posted that on your wall and you immediately back down and don't say anything, then maybe you don't know that much about your product, or maybe you're not aware that you're doing harmful things to pregnant women. Shouldn't be. You know, if you give a very educated answer, it gets to it lets people know you're an expert in it, that you've studied it, that you understand it, and you also understand the FDA, and then you get to expose the FDA.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Thank you. I've got lots
Perfect.
out of today. Thank you.
Awesome.
Andrea, how have you avoided getting kicked off or getting your profile shut down?
I do. I've been in jail a lot, especially in 2020. Even I remember in March of 2020, it was very like the first week in March, I did a video saying this whole thing is a hoax. Like talking about this stuff. So yeah, I've been shut down for 30 days and then and those things. And so I built a second account. And then I realized we have to outsmart them. Like my position right now is in 2023. We're building a business. We have to outsmart the beast. Like we have to be able to do things, but maybe be a little smarter about it. Maybe share quickly in our stories. Maybe it doesn't get as much red flags from Facebook. I'm much more careful in my posts right now. I'll still talk about things, but I'll use it maybe sometimes in code words that maybe Facebook won't tag. Like I'll talk about the slave system, the matrix, and the system we're all bogged into. And that, you know, for me, that's such a part of my brand, exposing that, like all the lies, like what we do for healthcare, what we do for food, what we do for school, and then showing people there's a different way, and then showing people that, you know, network marketing isn't the pyramid scheme. It's the 9 to 5 that steals all your tax money, you know, over here, and how you get into a different tax system. So we have so much to share people and awaken them to what we have. And I think we can do it carefully. And, you know, for example, I do have people on my team who are very awake, and they don't get any customers and they don't get any business partners because all they talk about is the end of the world. And then I'll say, well, that's why you don't have any business partners, because it's like, it's just speaking one message. It's all going to end. It's all terrible. I'm like, who cares? Let's just die. So it's just about being smart and not turning people off as well, you know, or I always tell my team too, like in the movie, The Passion of Christ, it's a really hard movie to watch. It's not a fun, let's get popcorn and soda and watch this movie. It's Passion of Christ. And so when they were creating the movie, the director said, in order to keep people's attention, because it's so raw and painful to watch, that people weren't like physically sunk by the end of the movie. That's why they had to keep putting in those scenes with the flashbacks of when Jesus was a carpenter, or Jesus with his mother, or Jesus is a baby, because then it makes us go, oh, this is really heavy. And then all of a sudden we're back to baby Jesus and we're like, okay, that was cute, that was fun. And then we get another breather. It's like having a contraction, you know, giving birth. You're just like, okay, I can do another one. And then you go back into it. So sometimes when we're talking about things that are heavy on social media, we have to give them a break. We have to turn that channel off. We have to get off that and get into a different thing. Otherwise, we're just on that one frequency where no one can handle it. It's, yeah, even I don't like it, even though I know it's true. If that's the only frequency that's there, I can't stay on that channel because it's depressing or it's heavy, you know.
That makes really good sense. Thank you.
It's hard though. It's hard when you have a team that's always in jail too.
It would be hard. It'd be difficult to keep everything going, it seems like, at least in
Yeah, yeah.
building. Guess you can maintain.
Our focus this year is definitely let's outsmart the beast. We can still talk about these things, still talk about it in code. You know, saying things like, yeah, I just talk in code right now.
It's really smart. We could do a whole separate training just on that.
How to talk in code. I'll have to develop a training on that. That's funny.
Please, I will show up. Because I have a lot to say that I haven't been able to
Got a
say
week
because I know
twice.
I'm going to get shut down.
Oh, I love it. Any more questions? This is fun.
Andrea, I would love to know. So you've used the circle, and you've delved into these little topics, and so out of a week, how much value content do you create? Like, I know every day is value content, but how much like do you actually spend writing posts on different real important issues? Like if I can put it like that, you know, do you spend a day just building content, or do you actually spend every day half an hour on it? Like, how does your schedule work with, I mean, life? Because
Yeah.
you're pretty much where anyone would be. Your time is full on. You know, how much time do you actually spend on social media to build that content?
I think it's always good for me. What works best is if I'm doing well, you know, we can fall off track, but when I'm really doing well, I'll Sunday night, I'll kind of think out posts. And it will be easy. I'll think one product post, one business post, one maybe a quote that I can throw up there. Some things I leave for just sporadic, you know, I don't have any posts, so I just go outside and take a hike, and then we picture that and share that. And then there's some hard hitting posts, but I think those hard hitting posts, they come more, not when we're trying to get them, but more when we're in the receiving mode. So if you're doing your personal development, or you're reading, or you're doing mindset work, or you're watching a seminar, you may have an aha moment that really triggers you, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the time that you take to write out a long post. And sometimes what I'll do is I may save the idea. It's been a while since I wrote like a long post like that, but I have another Facebook account that I just call upcoming posts, and I'll do live video practices in there, or I'll do just get pre-made posts ready and put up there. And so I'll start carving out those ideas. But usually it's when you can hit a good post like that really connects with people. That's when people share that content. They will share it. But in order to prepare for that day that you do have that inspiration, on the back end, we're just posting daily, engaging, keeping that going. And then you have that really great post, and then people understand you better, know you better, and then you keep going. That's what I do.
Yeah,
That was a super good question.
I had just one other question aside from that, Andrea. Aside from posting, say, on your Facebook or Instagram, I know you talked about trying to keep things quite simple, but do you have a group other than a product education group or a LifeVantage group, so to speak, that you use to offer extra value to people or anything else like it, or you just stick to your main profile? And
because it's not duplicable.
yeah,
most of us can't do that, right? So I had a girl on my team, and she insisted on doing it that way. So she had her own, and she had a great following, but she had to keep the content going in there. She had to always feed that group, and it's exhausting.
yeah,
And now she's someone who I would say is under me, but could have surpassed me in the business with everything she had going for her, the following she had. And she dropped from a I think she hit Pro 3, Pro 4, and then dropped down to like a 2 or 1 now, because now babies are coming and she can't keep up that same rhythm. So it's so much easier just to say, here's our product education group, here's our business education group, and that's it. And
Yeah.
so we're just funneling and it's funny how we always think that more complex it is, that the better our brand is going to be, but it's not true at all. It's actually,
Oh, sorry. Please finish. But yeah, my struggle is when it comes, like, because I manage our team group as well, our product education group. Like, I'm juggling a lot of balls as one of the leaders
Yeah.
for our team. But I guess for me, when it comes to posting on my personal profile, I just feel like sometimes I'm not getting enough value out there. And I guess where I feel like I can offer the most value is perhaps, you know, trying to do like training videos on supporting mums with extra tools and things that can help with their business. But I think that doesn't seem like content that you'd want to just post on your Facebook page. It's more.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. That would be you adding value. That would be a live video. And
Okay.
so, and then you would connect with other moms or hint at what you're doing. I think our personal page works like we're treating it like it is that. So
Okay.
feed that content into it.
Yeah. I guess my market is just so broad. Like I speak to so many people that would only ever be sort of in that customer category. And then like when I talk, you know, tools and systems for building a business, like that probably misses 90% of my audience. And so I just, yeah, when you feel like you have such a broad audience,
Yeah.
some
You'll
areas are
find
very
your people. I
niched.
feel like when you put out certain posts, you connect with different people.
Yeah.
Like you can put out your sweet post, your beach post, and then I can put out a post where it may actually separate me from other women. They may think, oh, I don't think that's true at all, or I don't like this girl, she's career focused or building this, you know. But there's people who are going to understand what I'm saying, and those are
Okay.
the ones you want. Or
Yeah.
even I think even the ones who, for example, like when you don't know about business at all and someone's talking about it,
Yeah.
I would be a person, because the Andrea I was 8 years ago was looking for something.
Yeah.
So even though I didn't really understand what you're talking about, systems and all those things, even when I started network marketing, I was like, what do people mean by systems? Like things were still like not clear to me.
Yeah.
And then now it's obvious now that we're 4 years into this business, but in the beginning, everything is so new. It's like learning a new language. But for the people that are curious, we'll sit and watch because we're hungry and we want to know those things. And
Yeah.
so when you talk about systems and value, you may be sitting here going, what is she talking about? But it's interesting. And then we could see your passion and we could see like what you're trying to do. And then your other posts are showing a little bit more. They're showing you at Elite Academy. They're showing the rest of the picture of who you are.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks very much.
Of course.
Anyone else have any questions? I know that this is stuff that we all need. I need it. I really need it.
Me too. I need a refresher too. In fact, I need to do a live video. I need to go do a live
We'll
video.
always have an area that we need to work on, right? Like, and I think you've touched on so many different areas that has touched on different things. Like, for instance, like one thing that I keep thinking is, you know, no matter the platform we use or the method, the goal is to build a network and to find the people that we really resonate with. And so if we're not doing it online, where are we doing it? And so for me, it's like, well, I mean, we can do life. That's, you know, that's a part of life and we can meet people that way. But if it's not fast enough for us to grow, we have to find a way to build that network fast. And so the things that you've mentioned are really just stuff that I think we all need to learn if we're going to grow quick, or if our goals have not been achieved yet, which are basically all of us here. So,
Yeah, I know.
thank you. Oh, Julie, did you?
Myself included. It's
Yeah.
And you know what, Jillian, I would post about the business because we're allowed to change our brand. You're allowed to be someone who talks a lot about birth and then suddenly not be in your birthing years anymore and not really be interested in that anymore and be interested in building a business. You know, like, and you can switch channels, and some people can't make the switch with you, and that's okay. But you've switched channels, you switched interests, and that's okay. And I think for you to talk about that, you're going to find your business partners probably a lot faster that way.
Yeah, definitely. I do touch on business, definitely. Like there's always posts about, traveling to Croatia and those things always pique a little bit of interest. But
Were you in Croatia?
yeah, I was, yeah.
Oh, it was so fun.
I'm sorry I missed you.
I
Many
know.
people. But yeah, look, I'm glad Talita made the connection with you because I absolutely appreciate all of what you're sharing. It's fantastic. But yeah, there's definitely, I guess, I'm an overthinker and I'm a perfectionist and it shoots me in the foot every single time. I've
I
just
love
got to
it.
do it. Messy is best and I've just
Yeah.
got to do it.
And
So
simple.
that's my goal for 2023. I'm just doing it.
Aw, I can't wait for us all to be elites. I'm like
I
so
know.
ready.
It's coming.
This was
Really?
fun. I'm gonna go inside. My kids are all like, it's
Yeah.
so funny. I'm like, do you not know by now that when I'm on a call, you don't like jump on the van? You're 10 years old. It's not
You
even
have
the
all the
baby.
same issues. Well,
Well, this
thank
was
you,
fun.
thank you, Andrea. I really appreciate it. And look, if you ever running something like this again or delving deeper into anything, please let us know because we're hungry. I mean, you're hungry. I know your team is hungry, but let's help each other, even though we're cross or not even cross team, but we just, Life Vantage is a
Cousins.
family, and that's what we're
I
so
love it.
excited about. Yeah.
I love it. God bless you guys. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks,
so much,
Andrea.
Andrea. That was wonderful.
All right.